The many myths of cleaning black paint.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is the DIY Detail Podcast. Today we're going to dive into what's different with black paint. Why do I need to treat it differently, or do I need to treat it differently? Some of these are myths and some of these are realities. We'll get to them.
What is true is that black paint will show dirt very easily.
Correct,
And if you washed it yesterday and you got pollen in the air, your vehicle might not look good the next day. With white paint, you're not gonna see the pollen, right? So there's something to this whole thing that black paint is harder to maintain or less forgiving.
Yeah.
But where does that end?
So the way I've always looked at it, and I've had 30 some black cars in my life, so I know black paint very well. A white car or silver car is a one-night stand. A black car is a commitment. It's a marriage, because there's a little more maintenance involved in maintaining a black car. Now, both of them, you wash them the same. There's no difference in the washing, but the black car, you may need to wash it a little more often to keep it that nice shiny black color.
Let's talk about black paint itself.
Right.
Is it different than white paint or red paint? Of course the color's different.
Right.
But is the paint itself also different?
Actually, no. So in the factory, they put down a base coat. It can be black, it can be silver, it can be red, it can be green, purple, pink, it doesn't matter. Then they put a clear coat over top. That clear coat is the same for every color that goes through that factory.
So if I'm polishing black paint, it's like the same as polishing white paint.
Yeah, you're polishing clear coat. That's it. Now, there are differences in black paint though. And when you're polishing, that brings up those differences and your finishing ability. Because if you have a solid black paint, and by solid black paint, there's no metallic, there's no fleck, there's no pearl in it, that one will show micro marring like crazy, and it'll show holograms, and it'll show everything. The clear coat we're polishing is the same, but the black paint is showing what's on that clear coat a lot better.
If you polish white or black paint, it'll get shinier.
Right, and you're polishing the same clear coat on both. So your results are the same, but your results may look better on the white paint because you're not seeing all those defects that the black paint transmits to your eyes.
So is polishing black paint harder then?
Actually, I find it easier because I can see where I'm going and I see where I've been. But polishing black paint requires a little more finesse in your finishing ability. For myself, I much prefer to finish a black paint with a rotary because I'm not going to get that micro marring. And micro marring is something that we get with a dual action machine. And the dual action machine, a small stroke will give you a lot of micro marring, and as your stroke increases, that micro marring diminishes because the circle is less aggressive. So a small circle going around really fast can give you micro marring, whereas that larger circle, like we have a 25 millimeter orbit, reduces the chance of micro marring. The micro marring, no matter what dual action machine you have, still exists. And it could be so minimal that you'll never see it, but it's there. And that is where finishing with a rotary comes in. So I prefer to finish with a rotary, especially on black paint. Now, on a white paint, on a silver paint, you won't see the difference. It doesn't matter if you finish with a wool pad on the DEA or the softest foam pad on the rotary, the gloss is gonna be 99.9% the same because of all that metallic and all that flake and all the other things that make it so you don't see. Now, if you have a black paint with a lot of metallic in it, an example, Ford Tuxedo Black. That's a color that I love polishing because A, I can see what I'm doing, it's black, but secondly, it has a lot of flake and a lot of pearl in it so that the micro marring just doesn't show up.
Yeah, I often wonder why is it that on flake paint that's black, it's much more forgiving than like no flake at all and just a deep sea of black.
Right.
Because, you know, you see everything in that kind of paint, but with the black
the pearl or the metallic or the flake.
Yeah, that seems to be much more forgiving. So that's
right.
the reason?
Yeah, the paint is the same, the clear coat's the same. It's just your eyes don't see the same things on a solid black as opposed to a metallic black.
I don't even think the consumer even notices the flake sometimes when they're looking at a car. They probably
No.
think, oh, it's a black car.
Right.
But the detailers will, you know, eventually everyone will see it if they own the car. But
yeah.
We see the flake right away.
So I had a black car, 2012 Mustang. The special color that year was called Lava Red Metallic. The car was black. Anyone who looked at the car, it looked black until you shined a light on it, and then it became red. That's because it had a red flake in it that in certain lights the car looked black, other lights it looked red. And that is a car that was very forgiving to polish because depending on how you looked at it, it was black or it was red. So
let's talk about the sun. I mean, the sun is going to get black paint really hot.
Yes.
So does that mean you can't wash black paint in direct sunlight?
You have to be a little more careful about washing in direct sunlight because of that heat. If you go to a dealership, don't do this in a parking lot because people don't like you touching their cars, but at a dealership, they sort of expect it. If there's a white car parked beside a black car, they're both in the sun, they've both been there the same amount of time. Put your hand on the white car, put your hand on the black car. The white car will be very close to ambient temperature. The black car will be much, much hotter, and that's because of the black paint absorbing the light instead of reflecting it.
So mobile detailers detail black cars all the time. What do they do? What are their tips and tricks for detailing black paint outside?
Cool it down a little bit first. Spritz some water on it or foam it down. I like to foam. If I'm doing a black car outside, I love rinseless washing. I'll do a hybrid wash because I want that thick foam on there to cool the surface down.
So that means Incredible Suds first for our pre-wash or our first step. Then we rinse, and then you put rinseless wash on.
Right, and then I'll finish with rinseless because if it dries on the surface, I'm not that concerned. It'll just come right off again.
I've used products before that are specifically for black paint, like a black wax.
Right.
Is that a thing? Should I need a special product for black paint?
That's spectacular marketing. It has nothing to do with reality. Again, we're working on the clear coat. The clear coat is the same whether the car is white, is silver, is black, is red. It doesn't matter. We're working on the same clear coat. So no, you don't need a color-specific wax. That was very popular back in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s. There's still some companies doing it. You really don't need that. That one is definitely a myth.
And do you need special products then for black paint, like a gloss black matte wrap, for instance?
So matte and gloss paints, we'll put the wrap aside for a moment, but matte and gloss paints both have clear coat on them. The matte paint clear coat is actually, other than one small ingredient, the same as the gloss clear coat. It's just one little ingredient that basically stops the paint from congealing on the surface or makes it set very quickly, so it keeps that frosted or frozen or matte look. Matte paint, gloss, it's the same thing. The wrap we'll set aside for a moment, but the paint is the same thing. And there's only one little ingredient that basically freezes the paint in time. That's why BMW calls it frozen paint, but freeze it in time that it doesn't gloss up. Because when you're spraying paint on a vehicle, it comes out of the gun looking matte, and then it flashes to gloss. That ingredient stops it from flashing to gloss. So the clear coat we're working on is the same. The only thing that needs to be different on a black matte surface versus a gloss surface is you don't polish it. Because if you polish it, you're going to end up with a glossy surface.
And you can never go back.
No. Well, you can. You have to repaint the vehicle. Or put a matte PPF or put a matte wrap on it.
So we're still talking about black paint. Let's talk about piano black, right? It's those pillars between the windows.
Yeah.
Detailers call them B-pillars. I know that's what they're called, but the average person might not even know what those are called.
Right.
But they're like, you look at them and they scratch.
Right. The piano black surfaces, and manufacturers unfortunately are putting more and more piano black on cars. I see it on front bumpers, I see it on grills, I see it everywhere. It is a very, very soft plastic, and it scratches, like Nick says, when you look at it. Never mind touch it. So it's very important to treat that with respect. If you have access to PPF, put PPF over top of it, or at least put a ceramic coating. That is going to help to keep it cleaner longer and get less of that scratching on it.
And I think about the way we teach polishing here, which is that you often want to preserve the finite clear coat that you have, right?
Right.
You're not removing scratches, you're removing the clear coat around the scratch, you're leveling the clear coat so the scratch looks smaller. And with these piano black B-pillars, Ivan, you can really get aggressive with it, and you can refine it with 3 different steps, wool cutting compound, DA, rotary, jeweling pad. You can do the whole thing. It's just gonna get scratched again.
And not only that, it's a very soft plastic and it's a cast plastic. If you break through that shiny part, now you're into just a basic soft matte plastic. It is not that piano black all the way through. And it's quite actually easy to break through that hard outer shell. We call it harder. And when you break through that, now you have what looks like on paint when you break through the clear coat.
So a nice one step on those B-pillars is what most people will ever notice. Like if they specifically bring it up, you could 2-step it if you wanted to.
But be very careful.
Be very careful.
Yeah, because you can go through it. Now, another black component on a vehicle that a lot of people have problems with is black plastic trim. Not the shiny stuff, but the standard, textured black plastic trim. When polishing, we see a lot of people taping that black trim. And the reason they're taping it is because their polish can actually damage that trim. We have a completely different approach here. We ask you, we implore you to please polish your trim. And I know that goes against the grain a little bit, but the reason we want you to polish the trim, our polish will actually clean that trim. If you have trim that's oxidized and you accidentally touch it with our polish, it's gonna go white and look hazy and not look good. That's because you actually haven't polished enough, because you've mixed the polish with the oxidation on the surface and you can't get that off. Polish it a little more and you'll get that off. Your trim will look better. And restoring black trim is something that's important in a detail, because once that black trim is back to its original shape and original color, your car's gonna look so much better.
Yeah, the trim is one of those things, just like shiny tires, you know, and we don't want shiny tires, but you put the tire shine on, tire lotion as it were. If your trim just pops, the vehicle looks different.
Yeah, it makes it look better. And on a black car, that stained trim or that oxidized trim is gonna look even worse, because you've got black paint and this trim that's supposed to be black is now gray. It doesn't bode well.
What do you think works better, like an aggressive one-step on black paint where you might leave some haze behind, or a really light step like the rotary jeweling pad where you just add a bit of gloss? Because black paint shows everything, right? So do you want more defect removal, or do you want a little gloss with all the scratches left?
Really depends on you, the customer, if you're a professional detailer, and what you intend to do with the vehicle. If it's a trailer queen, sure, go for it. Get rid of all the scratches and scuffs and everything else. If it's a daily driver, first of all, if you're really obsessed, black may not be the best color for you. But if it's a daily driver, get it glossy, get it looking good. It's gonna get scratched up again. For a black car, I rather polish it every year or two, but just a light polish to enhance the gloss, as opposed to going on for full correction.
What about different substrate? What about ceramic coating, Ivan? Does black paint need a specific ceramic coating or a specific, we talked about specific wax with no, but would a certain ceramic coating make black look better?
Actually, we have one coating that makes black paint look better, and that is hydrate. And the reason it does that, hydrate actually fills, and that filling ability, that little micro marring, those little ticks you can't get out, it's gonna fill that. No, it's not gonna fill a scratch, it's not gonna fill a scuff, but it will fill those last little things that you may not be able to finish down, especially if you're using a DA. Then just don't worry about it. Coat it with the hydrate, it'll be beautiful.
We know that on a hot sunny day, black paint gets way hotter than white paint.
Right.
Does that mean that black paint fails faster?
Actually, it can. And there's a couple reasons for that. The temperature that you mentioned, and the black paint with that temperature, what happens is the contamination that's on the surface, the dirt that's sitting there, that paint is getting hotter. When it gets hotter, it gets softer because it's a plastic. So that contamination can work its way deeper into the paint. Same thing with water spots. They're a lot more prevalent on a black car because of that, because it evaporates that water off very quickly. By evaporating that water off quickly, those minerals are left behind, and since the paint is soft because it's hot, those minerals can etch in deeper. So protecting your black paint is extremely important. You want to keep your black paint protected. And paint failure, which is the clear coat actually failing over time, that happens faster on a black car that isn't maintained. If you keep your car washed and you don't allow contaminants to accumulate on them, then yes, your paint will last as long as a white paint. But if you have a fleet, let's say, that doesn't get washed as much as it should, the black cars, the paint will break down before the white cars because it gets hotter. Since it's getting hotter, those contaminants are working their way deeper into the paint, breaking the paint apart, causing it to fail.
Which is why we want to protect our black paint?
We want to protect every paint, but you definitely want to protect your black paint.
So Ivan, you mentioned the one-night stand is the white car and the full-time marriage is the black car. What did you mean by that's black paint?
So black paint is more of a commitment. Now, you can have black paint and not wash it, that's up to you. But the white paint versus a black paint, the white paint, it's gonna look good most of the time anyways. Whereas a black car, you wash it, 5 minutes later, you're looking at it going, ooh, there's dust starting to accumulate on it. So black cars require a little more love, a little more attention to keep them at their top, to keep them at their best.
They're just gonna require a little extra.
Yeah, they need a little extra time, a little extra love, a little extra commitment involved.
But when you put that commitment in, is that, you know, what you get back also commensurate to that amount of effort?
It is. You know, black cars are, for me, it's one of my favorite colors on a car because the car, when it's clean, looks spectacular.
It's a beautiful short window.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I wonder about cleaning wheels. Like black paint is something and then black wheels or something. But clear coat on the wheels, is it the same as the clear coat on the paint?
It actually is. So a lot of people mistakenly think their wheels are powder coated. If they're from the factory, they're clear coated. That's the way it's done. Aftermarket wheels may be powder coated, but that powder coating is just a different way of applying paint. On a factory wheel, which is what most of us are driving with, it's clear coat. Whether your wheel is silver, whether it's black, whether it's white, it is still clear coat. And the way we clean wheels is very important because if your wheel is not clean and you're cleaning it in a way that unfortunately a lot of people clean wheels, which is no regard to safety of the surface at all.
Right, you think you have to baby your paint, but with a wheel, it's just YOLO. Whatever you want to do, just get in there, scrub, and you're good.
Yeah, we teach a very effective and safe way of cleaning wheels, and that starts with foaming. And we foam on All Clean, which is our all-purpose cleaner. We let that dwell. That's gonna break down the grit. Then we rinse it. Then we foam it again, then we hit it with the brushes. We see a lot of people, they'll foam the wheel and immediately start brushing. There's grit on the wheels. Grit accumulates on the wheels more than anywhere else on the vehicle because of the way the wheel is spinning around. Next time you're driving on a rainy day, the car in front of you, look at the spray that's going on around and inside and with the wheels. And you'll see that it's just taking that water everywhere. Aerodynamically, wheels are terrible. And that is one of the things, they're just swirling stuff around. And that swirling makes it so the wheels accumulate a little more dirt. That dirt we need to clean off safely. And speaking of which, we have a video that we did. It's a little longer, really in depth on how to clean your wheels, the safety of cleaning your wheels, and they just happen to be black wheels.
That video is right here.